Sup guys, I'm Metal Metalhead. I'm to 150 classic albums by the end of the year, and thankfully, because of two beautiful people over on Patreon, this album has been requested today. I actually planned to record this yesterday and do it either way, because Fiona Apple is the one artist that I am going to do if it's requested or not, because if you don't know about my channel and stuff, over on my Patreon, it's $5 a month to $18 a month. There's 300 people subbed over there. They all have the ability to request an album, which means that I can't do anything outside of Patreon requests, but that doesn't bother me most of the time, because they request good music. But the one issue is that women don't really get requested as much, but I made an exception that Fiona Apple's the only person that I'll do that isn't requested, because I just want to do all of her stuff. As soon as I heard When the Porn, I just fell in love, so I wanted to delve into all of her stuff chronologically. But for whatever reason, today two people requested it, and I am so thankful that you guys are doing that. But yeah, I am very curious about Idle Will. It's the one that I've spoken about this entire time, on every other Fiona Apple reaction, that Idle Will is the one that I know nothing about. And then some people, because no one talks about it, but then some people in the comments are like, this is actually my favorite, but they still didn't say what it was about. So I'm coming in very, very blind, but I'm glad there are some Idle Will fans. The one thing I have noticed, though, is the fact that the genre, when I'm listing it here on the top right, is art pop. When usually it was like piano rock and alternative rock and singer-songwriter and that sort of thing, and now it's art pop. I am slightly worried, because the first three albums I fucking adored because of the way she does ballads on piano and everything. So I'm curious to see how I fare into art pop, which in my eyes is usually like more electronic sort of based. And I really just love like the 90s aesthetic that her music had in the first three records. So hopefully that doesn't get lost. But yeah, I'm curious to delve into it. Let's see how it goes.
Every single night I endure the flight of little wings of white flame, butterflies in my brain. These ideas of mine,
oh damn,
percolate
her vocal's
through
more like
my
whimsy here.
trickle down my spine, swirl the belly, swelling to a blaze. That's where the pain comes in, like a second skeleton.
Ooh.
Trying to fit beneath the skin. I can't fit the feelings in. No, every single night's a light with my breath. What I say to her, what I say to her. What does she think of me? That I'm not what I ought to be, that I'm what I try not to be. It's got to be somebody else's fault. I can't get caught. If what I am is what I am, cause I does what I does, then brother get back, cause my breast's gonna bust open. The rib is the shell and the heart is a yolk, and I just made a meal for us both to choke on. Every single night's a fight with my breath. I just wanna feel everything. I just wanna feel everything. I just wanna feel everything. So I'm gonna try to be still now. Gonna renounce the little while, and if we had a double king size bed, we could move.
I just love her vocals. Like the way that she's shaking it is different to before, and I love it.
And maybe I'd relax, let my breast just bust open. My heart's made of parts of all that's around me, and that's why the devil just can't get around me. Every single night's alright. Every single night's a fight, and every single fight's alright with my brain.
I love those vocal layers. Oh, it's just so amazing.
I just wanna feel everything. I
I love it. Um, if you haven't watched one of my videos before, I'll do the oldest preamble. I do ratings on the side. This is my first listen ratings. I listen to this project multiple times over before I post them to my Discord, where you can chat to me about my ratings. I'm always active in there. I try and make the Discord a chill, normal space to be in. You should. If anyone goes over there and you have any bad experiences or anything like that, which I doubt you will, but if you do, you can always message me, all that jazz. I cut that shit out. But yeah, I also post the album of the year, which is the music running website that I use. It says 600 reviews. I've actually done about 1,400 in the past 18 months. Before this channel existed, I maybe listened to maybe 10 albums across my entire life, and that was Bring Me the Horizon, Linkin Park, that sort of thing. And I started this to delve into classic artists for the first time, and I happened upon Fiona Apple, who I didn't know about until I went into more music nerd spaces. But yeah, over the course of those 1,400 reactions, I've gotten an average rating of a 6 out of 10. I solely think that's because of my Patreon, because of all of the requests that I was talking about. Most of my bad albums that I listened to were before Patreon requests, and now I listen to mostly good albums, and that lends itself to be the reason why it's a 6 out of 10. Because spiritually, I think it's a 5 out of 10 average. But if 5, and I think 5.1 is above average. But with all of that being said, I think this track is amazing, and I'll go over why now. I love the differences that Fiona Apple has with this record compared to the first three. It feels like there's a turning point, which kind of makes sense because, well, Extraordinary Machine was written and made when she was like 29, so like that's like the capsize of like your youth is like that sort of time was, yeah, up until you're like 30s, you finish your 20s and that sort of thing, and it felt like an understandable sort of place. If we go to Tidal, which has a bit more of that youth energy to it, but not to press on the same sort of like sexist tropes that she had when she was like that people threw at her when she was 16. She didn't write from an immature place. It's just you can tell through only experience and experience alone that it was written by someone that was younger, because the maturity that she embodied while she was writing those tracks and the angle she was taking and all of that was like well beyond her years, but you could still tell that like she matured over time, but she started from such a mature place in the first place. And then you had the When the Pawn, which had a bit more fury into it, because Tidal didn't have that fury. It was kind of like there was a bit more of an innocence there. I feel like there wasn't as much anger and stuff like that when the Pawn goes into that and delves into the justified scorn that she felt. But what I liked about it is that she never felt like vengeful or anything like that too. And even if she did feel vengeful, I think it would be fine. But I don't think she really delved into that. She just like really came to grips with that. Extraordinary Machine feels like it capsizes that sort of the melding of the two, and it kind of gives her like a perfect little trilogy because she brings in some of that Disney whimsy with the cabaret sort of stuff on the record. And I think it's it's really nice there. And then here, 6 years later, she's like 34, I would assume now on this, and we've completely changed the instrumentation, and then also the way that she talks is from a different perspective. She's talking more introspectively, where like on before she would it didn't feel like introspection as much. It felt like self-criticism. Like there were like the partners that she was facing with and having issues with, they were criticized. Like she was trying to introspect and see what was wrong, but it stemmed from an environment where she was seen or viewed as like the problem. So she was trying to solve herself, which I don't know anything about her relationships. But like with the way that she talks and stuff, like, I don't think she is the problem there. But with this one, it's focused. It's not in conjunction with like what is wrong with me in the sense of I'm like all of these issues are happening around me. It's my fault. It's stemming more from like every single night I'm having these issues when it comes to, I'm assuming OCD thoughts with like the fact that she's wrapped with that with it every single day, and she has to keep continually like think about it over and over and over again. So that's how I take it, and I like that she's gone this separate direction. I guess like it's a very understandable sort of perspective to have, because like me, when I was just like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I viewed my entire life through like my partners. That was where I got like a lot of the sense of my identity and how I bounced off of my like self. I didn't have my own like grounding. It was more so like reactionary to the relationships that I was having and trying to do the right thing or be a good person in there, principled person, bouncing off of that like the romantic side of me. And I felt like maybe there's like a part of that in Fiona Apple's writing, and this is the reason why I connected to it with the way that she wrote about love, because her identity seems to be bound like a reactionary to the relationships that she was having, and in on this one, it is solely centered her. It's just talking about herself, and I think that level of like finding your identity and finding who you are clearly within that 6 year part, or I think she had bits of it on Extraordinary Machines. Clearly, over the time of her 20s to 30s, she's gotten to this place where she has like a more grounded, like part of herself where her issues aren't framed through like environment, but through her own internal experience, and I think that's a really cool sort of thing. Um, and I think one of the benefits of having Fiona Apple release once every like 6 years is you can see the development of like the part of her over just one album to the next, and it's like it doesn't feel like a facade or anything like that, because honestly I feel like she's so authentic in her music, she couldn't do one. But it because it doesn't feel like a facade, because I don't think it is. It feels so much more tangible and authentic, and like, I don't know, captivating to be able to delve into all of that. Also, if she delves more into her like mental health struggles and that sort of thing, I got glimpses of it here, and I hope that there's more in the future. Because I know I connected to a decent part of this track because of my partner. My partner has OCD, and they and like I see it firsthand, but I don't know it. I try and like I basically all of their like OCD sort of thoughts and triggers and stuff like that I have in my head. So like I look out for that now. So like when it comes to, I never really cared about germs or anything like that, but like now I care a tiny bit about that, like knowing where to look, where's containment, that sort of thing. Sicknesses mostly. Like if there's like they have emetophobia or something that I don't know the name of it, but it's the phobia of vomit. It's like a instinctual like fight or flight. I've seen, it's crazy. Like the reaction and how much hurt they have to go through when they even suspect something like that. It's like I've never really encountered phobias to the point of this until dating my partner. But yeah, I now check out for some of that sort of stuff. So I have like I try my best to be empathetic in that sort of way. But I haven't listened to much music or art that was able to like convey that OCD experience and the sticky thoughts of it all, which is like the term I know about it, like the sticky thoughts of it, and put me into that position. I haven't really found art that does that. So because Fiona Apple does struggle with that, and she seems very open when it comes to that, because I've seen some like internet videos of her and stuff like that. Um, it's a part of her music that I didn't necessarily think about because it hasn't been like a core aspect of her first three albums, but there's like at least shades of it in here. If she's able to explore that, it feels like it might be like a really nice opportunity for me to be able to like get a greater understanding of like even my partner when it comes to the OCD. Like the type of understanding you can only get when you're like feeling it or being transported to that place, rather than like just having open empathy and trying to understand, but like actually experiencing it through art, you know? Yeah. Sorry about all that. Yeah.
I guess I just
Oh.
must be a daredevil. I don't feel anything until I smash it up. I'm caught on the cold, caught on the hot, not so with the warm a lot. And all I want's a confidant to help me laugh it off. And don't let me.
This sounds so large. Ooh, how did I make the piano sound like that?
I may need a chaperone. Say I'm an airplane, and the gashes I got from my heartbreak make the slots and the flaps upon my wing, and I use them to give me lift. Hip, hip for the lift, hip, hip for the drag. I want them all in my me anything, and I'll turn it into a gift. But don't.
Ooh, this is a crazy sound.
Ruin me. I may need a chaperone.
Crazy production. I wonder who's on it, like doing the production. Is it the same? PD and CD. I don't think I've seen that before.
Seek me out. Look at me. I'm all the fishes in the sea. Wake me up.
Oh, the vocals are so...
Give me what you got in your mind in the middle of the night. And maybe you let me
It's so wild compared to
look out for you. Protect what I found in you and never let it start. And then that way you let me stay, skirting the skirt like I want to. And I'll try hard to hold on to you with open arms. But don't let me ruin me. I may need a chaperone.
It's so, like, it's so interesting. This one is so different to our other records. Which made me so surprised that not many people spoke about it. Because, like, this just... Well, like, her previous ones felt very piano-based the entire time. And it felt like it was more held to, like, traditional structure, like, song structure, where you have, like, your normal song structure. And then when she broke apart from that is when, basically, she would do, like, what I view as like jazz improvisation. Like when you look at like on the Bound off of the When the Pawn, like the last like 2 minutes there is like what I assume to be like classical or jazz like improvisation, where it's just instrumental and you're just feeling it out, that sort of thing, right? Where with this, the instrumental breaks and everything like that doesn't necessarily feel like it comes from that sort of traditional form of jazz, classical sort of thing. It feels like it comes from a much more like experimental music sort of aspect, where like it doesn't feel like a break from the form. It feels like it's formless in some regard. Like when I guess like the art pop is an understandable perception of it. Like when I'm it doesn't feel as it doesn't feel like it has the same structure. And then also when you couple that with like the differences in how the instrumentation is, it's not piano forward as much. It feels like the piano, I know, where like before, the reason I feel like it was fair to call it piano rock is the fact that piano was clearly like the focal point, where with this it feels like the piano is just a tool within the instrumentals. I think apart from like the really cool like cavernous like large sort of production passages in here, when it like crash it, like that being super unique, and I love that. Apart from that, I feel like I prefer the traditional piano sort of aspect of her stuff, but her lyricism is still really cool. I really like it, and that was I don't know, just I really liked the thunderous nature of that instrumental. It's a lot more. It's a lot more. It's not as familiar to me as like the other stuff, where like I could connect to it easier because the other stuff felt at least familiar, but it felt like perfect and like drawing me in here. This one feels more interesting than familiar. But yeah, I would give this track an 8. I think it's great. Yeah. Like, but this is so cool. But it feels like, because it doesn't have as much of like the same sort of form as like the other music, it's not as instantaneous with how I could connect to it emotionally. But I think it's really cool and interesting. But it starts off with like the normal piano sort of stuff each time, which is cool. And then it feels like a deconstruction. maybe that's like a, I'm sorry to just ramble, but maybe that's the perspective of this album compared to the other ones. Like the other ones felt observatory. Like she was, I actually spoke about, I think I spoke that particularly about Extraordinary Machine, where it feels like she has the most pure innocent, but not in regards to lack of maturity, but in the fact that if everyone's wearing goggles around, if we view everyone's perception of the world through goggles, everyone has stained goggles from their past experiences, the fingerprints, the smudges all over that. And with her, I use the example that she has clean goggles, where she's just seeing everything for what it is and is able to relay that. Um, though, so historically, it felt like her stuff was very observatory. Um, where this one feels a lot of deconstructing. It's not just, oh, let me look at this. It's let me look and deconstruct like it, if that makes sense.
You didn't see my Valentine. I sent it via pantomime.
Pantomime is a nice word. I don't see a lot.
You were watching someone else.
She has such a nice vocab.
I stared at you and cut myself. It's all I'll do, 'cause I'm not free. A fugitive too dull to flee. I'm amorous but out of reach. A still life drawing of a peach. I'm a tulip in a cup. I stand no chance of growing up. I've made my peace, I'm dead, I'm done. I watch you live to have my fun.
Ooh.
I root for you.
I love her vocal skills.
I love you. You. I root for you. I love you. You. I made it to a dinner date. My teardrops seasoned every plate. I tried to dance but lost my nerve. I cramped up in the learning curve.
I wonder, like, I don't, because this is just first listen, and also I don't know what like the tracks are about, but like what I don't know, I guess like what it means to me when it comes to like when I'm listening to this, it's like the I love you, I watch you live to have my fun, that sort of thing. I've made peace, I'm dead, I'm done. I don't know, like it's a tenuous sort of connection, but I kind of view it as the lens of like the Valentine, the hopeless romantic that she was in the past. Um, that she sets that sail. Like she's basically being like, you've had my fun. Now I have to like let you go, sort of thing. Yeah. Ooh, I love how sinister this sounds.
I'm a tulip in a cup. I stand no chance of growing up. I'm resigned to sail on through. In the wake of tales of you, I root for you. I love you. You. I root for you. I love you. You. I root for you. I love you. You. I root for you. I love you. You.
I think it's an amazing track. I love it. I just love the tone of it. Her piano as well. I feel like this is the first like name I think we've seen on an album.
Jonathan, call again. Take me to Coney Island. Take me on the train. Kiss me while I calculate and calibrate. And heaven's sakes, don't make me explain. Just tolerate my little fist tugging on your forest chest. I don't wanna talk about, I don't wanna talk about anything. I don't wanna talk about, I don't wanna talk about anything. Jonathan, anything and anyone you've done has gotta be alright with me. If she's part of the reason you are hell you are, she's alright with me. Just tolerate my little fist tugging on your forest chest. I don't wanna talk about, I don't wanna talk about anything. I don't wanna talk about, I don't wanna talk about anything. You're like the captain, a capsized ship. But I like watching you live. You like the captain, a capsized ship. But I like watching you live.
Ooh, I just love her vocals and how she strains them. It's like so perfect. It's like emotions forward.
Jonathan, call again. Take me to Coney Island. Take me on the train. Kiss me while I calculate and calibrate. And heaven's sakes, don't make me explain. Just tolerate my little fist tugging on your forest chest. I don't wanna talk about, I don't wanna talk about anything.
I'd give it like an 8.5. I think it's a bit lower than the two other like top tracks, but
I
like
don't wanna talk about anything.
I find it to be such an interesting record. So like so far, like the vibe I get from this is it's a lot less inquisitive, which like a lot of her music before felt like it was very inquisitive, curious, um like she comes from like, oh, I'm in like a blank canvas that's coming in, has an experience or is seeing something happen, and then goes in, investigates it, reports back, and then gets like decompresses like some of her thoughts to do with it. Um where with this one, it feels so sat with the internal sort of struggle and like the struggles that are happening, and it a bit more, I guess, like closed off. But I feel like that probably stems from the fact that as you like mature, you grow more sure of yourself, and sure of the things. Like, it's like tugging on your forest chest. I don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to talk about anything. I don't know, like, it doesn't have the same inquisitive nature that I feel like she would even show herself. Like, it feels like her identity and everything has like materialized and crystallized since the last records. It's such a stark shift, and I feel like it would. Well, like the other ones had like stark shifts in different avenues. This one feels like the biggest jump out of all between all of the records, and I feel like it's the one that would take me the most like re-listens to be able to fully process it all. Yeah. I do like how it has that ambition to just go for, like, in the same way, I'm sorry to pause this, in the same way that I feel like she has the ambition and like confidence to be able to go so headfirst into the authenticity of her like emotions and everything when she's writing from previous records. It feels like now that she's broken the barriers of like the like clinical like piano rock form of the stuff that she was doing before. She was like experimenting with like adding some like more Disney-esque like cabaret elements on the last record and stuff like that, but like it was very much that was the canvas and then she's on top of that canvas. But now that same level of like confidence and follow through that she had to basically explore her emotions and songwriting and try and get to like the heart and spirit of like the feelings that she was trying to convey on top of the canvas that she had on the first two records. Now she feels like she has that level of force, but she's broken down the foundation and canvas that is the piano rock, and it is having that level of ambition and follow through with breaking down the structures musically of what the tracks can like look like. It's very interesting. It's just very interesting. Like that was I could have never guessed that that's how that would have ended, or I wouldn't have paused at that. Like that is how I would have coalesced.
You made your major overtures when you were showing Doverton mutt. And I was still doing pedal rather than a moribund slut.
Moribund? I'm sorry, that's another, I'm sorry, I have to go back. That's another word I haven't heard before. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like mermaid, it was like murmur something, and it just meant ailment, and I just have never heard that before. It's like, I haven't read much books, but like I do write, and I guess, or whatever, like, and I'm in English. I'm about to go bachelor in English stuff. So it's really interesting to come across like words I've just never heard before. Like orotund, don't know. Dewey, I know that one, but it's a word that's not used much. And then moribund. I'm going to pause and look them up. That might be by itself the craziest like rhyme and bar to rhyme orotund with moribund. Because those are two fucking crazy words I've never heard before. They mean vastly different things. And she thought of it.
Still doing pedal rather than a moribund slut. My love wrecked you, you back to twirl your skirt at the palace. It hurt more than it ought to hurt. I went to work to cultivate a callus.
I love how she, like, this is incredible.
Too hard to know.
The poetry is crazy.
I don't cry when I'm sad anymore. No, no. Tears calcify my tummy. Feels cold inside.
I love her vocals too.
How can I ask anyone to love me when all I do is beg to be left alone?
Might be my favorite track so far.
Oh, when I tried to love, and I could love the same man in the same bed in the same city, but not in the same room. It's a pity, but oh, it never bothered me before. Not until this guy, what a guy, oh God, what a good guy, and I can't even enjoy him 'cause I'm hard, too hard to know.
It's so crazy that happened. Because she seems so open before. So vulnerable to herself. I like the tone.
How can I ask anyone to love me when all I do is beg to be loved? When all I do is beg to be loved. When all I do is beg to be loved.
The way her voice is broken down. I feel like this is kind of a perfect track. Like, I love it. I feel so bad. Like, I feel so sad that she's gotten to this point. You know, like she had to deal with this. She's like changed a lot. It seems.
Nothing is manageable. So couldn't we skip the valedictories? I could see a door there, shut it and forget my number, 'cause I'm hard, too hard to know. I don't cry when I'm sad anymore. No, no. Tears calcify.
Oh, the way that. Oh, this is incredible. I love this.
And all I do is beg to be loved. And all I do is beg to be loved. And all I do is beg to be left alone.
Oh. I love that. It's like, yeah. Fuck. I'm kind of speechless. I like how tender this is, like opening. We had this massive crash, and now we're having this more somber track. This could hit me even harder.
I could liken you to a werewolf, the way you left me for dead. But I admit that I provided a full moon.
I'm sorry to pause it. I'm then ruin the momentum a bit, but like the idea that the last track can use those words that I've never fucking heard before, and have that level of lyricism and it not come across even remotely pretentious, and they actually aid in getting across the emotion that she had, like, is trying to get across. That's like a very hard balance where I feel like I know I just thought about it now because I just don't think I don't know, I just don't feel like other artists would be able to do that, like use Oraton and Moribund and it not just sound and it still get across the heart of the emotion. But yeah, I'll go back a tiny bit.
I could liken you to a werewolf, the way you left me for dead. But I admit that I provided a full moon. And I could liken you to a shark, the way you bit off my head. But then again, I was waving around a bleeding open wound. But you were such a super guy till the second you get away from me. We're like a wishing well and a bolt of electricity, but we can still support each other. All we gotta do is avoid each other. Nothing wrong with a song ends in a minor key. Nothing wrong with
There's so much
a song
pessimism
ends
for
in
them
a
right now.
minor key.
I like it a lot. Not the pessimism, but the song.
Lava of a volcano shot up hot from under the sea. One thing leads to another. You made an island of me.
It's so crazy. I love it. But I'll pause it here. The way that she's able to talk about like these evergreen sort of concepts that would feel like trite. Like I could hear so much like formulaic music talking about like, oh, the ocean, the sea made an island out of me, that sort of thing. It's just like I could see so much of that being used as like very formulaic, like window dressing sort of fucking wallpaper lyrics that have no emotion to them. But the way that she's able to always tackle these certain things and slightly flip like these classic songwriting, lyricism, emotions, all that sort of stuff, and able to like still give a very unique tackle of it is incredibly impressive. There's like, it feels like one of one, because if I listen to a classic artist that is like the one that starts with these type of similes, I'm going to view it through the lens of like the first to do it. So I'm going to clock that, if that makes sense. And if I listen to another songwriter that has like a new fresh look, it's going to be like a diversion, not a diversion. It's going to be like it's going to be transformed into something different, that so it doesn't feel classic. But this feels classic and fresh at the same time. And I just don't know of any other artist that's able to write that sort of way.
And I could liken you to a chemical, the way you made me compound a compound. But I'm a chemical too inevitable, you and me wouldn't mix. And I could liken you to a lot of things, but I always come around. Cause in the end, I'm a sensible girl. I know the fiction of the fix, but you are such a super guy till the second you get away from me. We're like a wishing well and a bolt of electricity, but we can still support each other. All we gotta do is avoid each other. Nothing wrong when a song
Might be one of my favorite songs of all time.
Nothing wrong when a song ends in a minor key.
Oh my god.
Nothing wrong when a song ends in
That's one of my favorite Fiona Apple
songs.
songs. The way that she's able to use the screams in the background and not feel distasteful or something. I don't know, like everything is just so fucking perfect with that. If you haven't watched one of my videos before, I guess like I do ranks out of 10 at the album average. The album rating is the track averages. I have 11, so albums can have a 9 and still have a 10 out of 10 because but I try and make sure that I don't give 11s out all the time. An example of this would be like Thriller by Michael Jackson. I think that's a 10 out of 10 album, even if one song has a 9, because there's like Thriller Beat It Billie Jean on it, like, you know? And the same sort of thing applies here. And I've listened to maybe the rate like 40,000 songs or something. And I have like 311s. Now Fiona Apple has probably the second most out of any artist. But yeah, it's for a track that's not just perfect, but like absolutely fucking like magical and unique. And yeah, and I feel like this is a perfect example of that. Yeah, I love this. I adore it. I was worried that listening to like the first like 4 tracks, there was like some stuff where like I'm not a massive fan of like the form of Daredevil, but I really liked like the flourishes of it and how cool it broke up the song structure, that sort of thing. And but like every single night, Valentine. Those tracks that are amazing, but like the floor of Fiona Apple is amazing, if that makes sense. So I was worried that the album wasn't going to be able to reach the same heights for me as the other three albums, because the worst she can do is a great to amazing song. And because we were getting halfway through, I was like, oh, I was starting to get halfway through. I was like, oh, I was starting to be worried. Like, are they not going to be the same heights, but there's going to be the same floor? And I'm happy to report back, no. These two tracks are fucking incredible. And I feel like it's just a testament of how just insanely consistent she is as an artist. Like, it's weird because it's like, depending on how you want to talk about like best discographies and stuff like that, if you want to be a nerd about it, is can someone that has just 5 albums be called it or whatever? But like something about the fact that she does like an album once every decade, and they're so magical and they're so amazing and they're so consistently great. I feel like that's a point in favor of her rather than the fact that she has like less albums in her catalog. It's just how flawless her catalog is. Kind of like a D'Angelo, you know. Yeah.
Oh, the periphery. They throw good parties there. Those peripheral idiots always have a bite to bear. Bear it if you can, if you really want to. Go to the periphery. Have them celebrate your name. Have them forge you a pedigree, and then you'll be let to run the races lane.
I love the sound effects.
If you want, if you think it's worth the night with me, 'cause I don't appreciate
This is crazy production.
people.
It's like the most creative production she's done so far, maybe.
Don't appreciate all that loving must have been lacking something. If I got bored trying to figure you out, you let me down. I don't even like you anymore at all. Oh, the periphery. I lost another one there. He found a prettier girl than me, with a more even-tempered air. And if he wants her, he should get her, 'cause I think he thinks she's worth it. And maybe they moved from the periphery, buy themselves their own plot of land. And I care in a different capacity. I'll just be hoping he makes a good family man. And if he finds himself yearning for his throne on the silly side, nothing wrong as long as he's learning. Besides, he could take it up with his brethren or with his bride, just not with me. 'Cause I don't appreciate people who don't appreciate all that loving must have been lacking something. If I
The way this is
got
built
bored
is so
trying to figure
good.
you out,
The pacing
you
is so
let
nice.
me down. I don't even like you anymore. All that love must have been lacking something.
this hits.
You let me down.
There's like a fury to it.
Like you anymore at all.
I don't know. Like, it feels so much more akin to like When the Pawn than any of their other albums, with like the fury, like the punch and assuredness. I'll give it 9.5. The sound effects are crazy good. What a gorgeous, gorgeous album. If this is the way that she goes into like experimental sort of stuff, it's just like amazing sound effects, then I'm probably gonna love even the more experimental thing, which is the next album. I love how more, like, yeah, experimental and, like, freeform she is going with, like, the textures and sounds and stuff like that.
Remember when we argued all the concept of regret? You were an expert even then, but not me, not yet.
Did you have to deal with like a lot older partners? Because I wonder, like the whole like I wasn't an expert yet, but you were sort of thing. It's just like I wonder if there was like a history of like relationships, because I haven't looked into like the personal life of like the stuff that she talks about on the record. All I know is that Paul Thomas Anderson is the one on When the Pawn, and I guess like with the Jonathan here, it's Jonathan something. I looked it up and it was like writer or something. I didn't know him, but I haven't looked into that sort of thing, so I haven't like checked to see if it's like always in like if it's like an older person each time or whatever. But it's this thing that kind of perks my ears up of like, you were an expert but not me yet. Feels like that is very much a person that's talking from like an authority, and that authority usually stems from and like that level of like confidence, if you want to call it that. To have the authority usually stems from either one, a sexist sort of place, I could suspect, or if it would, or just stemming from the fact that like the person's older, which is not good. But yeah.
And there you got me, that's how you got me. You taught me to regret. Remember how I asked you why are you so mean? You didn't know how to react to being seen. I tried to be your friend, you made me seem so getting mean. And there you got me, that's how you got me. You taught me to be mean.
Dude, that sound design is just incredible.
To soak up the happiness that comes from your mouth every time you address me.
Oh. that vocal.
comes from your mouth every time you address me.
Oh, my hand's creasing up. Ah. It made me tense so hard that this part of my hand
I was
hurts.
so sick and you didn't believe me. Then you got sick too, and guess who took care of you? You hated that, didn't you? Didn't you? Now when you look at me,
I love the therapeutic nature of her songwriting.
monster, your mother.
I like the fact that's therapeutic for her.
That's how you got free. You got rid of me. But now I ran out of white dust feathers to soak up the happiness that comes from your mouth every time you address me.
That's a perfect fucking track.
To soak up the happiness that comes from your mouth every time you address me. All alone. Leave me
I wonder when these songs are recorded. Like, are they all recorded in like 2012? Because it feels like it could be like sporadic. This is just incredible. I feel like I'm talking less about the like the stuff about the music and my own personal connection to it, because like it feels like the closer, like I know it just feels like I'm too young now. Like I'm 24, so I could at least like, so like what Tidal came out, like she made it when she was like 15 to like 18 or something, wrote the songs, so I could relate to that because I went through that period of my life. And then when the porn I could relate to because it's like 21, 22. That was a formative years for me as well. I'm 24 now. It's like I can kind of relate to Extraordinary Mission because I'm even different to how I was when I was 21, 22. But I haven't gotten to 29 yet, so I haven't like. I don't know. It could just be a coincidence, but it's like the 3 albums that were written around the same times that I am and I've lived through are the ones that I'm able to like have greater knowledge on and like talk like about my own experience and how it relates to it. Where like this one, I haven't gotten to that age yet, so I feel like that has to be the thing, because like all the other ones I could relate to, like personal stories that I was going through. It's like, oh, she's lived more life than me now, like by a long shot. Whereas it felt like Extraordinary Machine was like, oh, that's within my grasps. Where this one is just like, oh, she's gone through a different stage in her life, and I just haven't gone through that yet. I don't know what it would look like for me, but I just haven't gone through that yet. But I'm that's the reason why I'm not talking as much. But it's not. But as you can tell, I still love the record just as much. It's just there's less of that relatability factor. But the artistry is still there. Like it feels like even if you now, I feel like I kind of have like a better understanding of like how someone who would listen to the album but doesn't relate to it and like connect with it super personally would be able to feel towards it, because it's just a different type of connection to the record. It's like I love how it sounds. The lyricism is beautiful. I'm hearing this beautiful story sort of thing and like perspective. But like before, it felt I was connected to it like on like a parasocial experience level. I just feel like I'm getting the experience of like someone that just didn't have that with the first 2 records too. Like I'm just having like, oh, someone that loves Fiona Apple but just didn't have that like parasocial aspect, I guess, where you relate to them and the experiences. And it's cool that it like still holds up. Where like, oh, it's still a fucking amazing record. It also feels like she's probably going to be one of the artists when I finish it, because I know the next album is considered like bomb. Everyone loves it. But like, there's not a bad record. Like, there's not an album that you could say is the worst. Which is, no one has that.
My cheeks were reflecting the longest wavelength. My fan was folded up and grazing my forehead, and I kept touching my neck to guide you right to where I wanted you to kiss me when we find some time alone.
I love how this is more minuscule, like where a lot of like the love sort of stuff, and I feel like I'll make the connection now because I did it before the album came out, before every other little music journalist. I'm not a music journalist, but like before music journalists spoke about it, I thought that Fiona Apple and Olivia Rodrigo were very similar in regards, but it's like Olivia Rodrigo is just like when the porn age. Um, and it's one of the reasons why I feel like, and I see a similarity between them in here, where like the starting relationships, that Fiona Apple was like talking about, it's like the perspective that they had on them is very similar to how I would view like an Olivia Rodrigo, with like it was very much infatuated with like the identity is tied into it, identity is tied into love, that sort of thing, um, and it makes like for grander sort of observations of the things are larger than life. And with this record here, like talking about this, I kept touching what got my neck to guide your eye to where. I wanted you to kiss me when we find some time alone. Like all of it, it's a lot more of like a mature sort of focusing, not on like the. I don't mean fairy tale as in like an immature, childish or anything like that. If you watch My Fiona Apple, I had that sort of thing, but it's not viewing love through that lens of narrative, or that lens of like, oh, I wanted to like this fantastic love. It's not fantastic. Like love isn't really. It's I guess like I learned that through. Funnily enough, I'm talking about my related experience now, but I learned that through having my partner now. We've been together for 3 years, and like the love that I have with them is something that's interesting to grapple with, because it's not as grand or like fairy tale like as the stuff I was chasing before, but and that tends to lean itself towards thinking that it's like less important or less valuable, but it's not. Like the love that I have for them is one that I want to spend my life with, and I'm content with that. Like, and it's the smaller things. It's the fact that it's more normal, the fact that it's like a um it's not a fantasy. It's not chasing a fantasy. It's like sitting with it, having these small moments of warmth. The I don't know, just I don't know, just tying it to like reality and being grounded a bit more. And it feels like this very much touches upon the same sort of thing. Why she's talking about it, like um, it feels like it also coincides with the fact that like on this record she feels a whole lot more grounded within her identity and herself, instead of the identity being reflexive to the other people that she was referring to. But yeah, I really like it. I really like it.
My scars were reflecting the mist in your headlight. I look like a neon zebra shaking rain off a stripe.
Rivulets.
And the rivulets
I've never heard it.
had you riveted to the places that I wanted you to kiss me when we find some time alone.
Like, I guess like to be more direct with what I was talking about, I wanted you to kiss me when we find some time alone. When we find some time alone, that feels like a more mature thing. It's like when we have space, because we're not trying to sacrifice everything for us to be in our lives. Like sacrifice is a massive aspect of like young love, or the young love I experienced, or what. And it's also the massive aspect of what I think Olivia Rodrigo's new album is about. And I think it's like the core flaw, that within that record she didn't really jostle with as much, is the fact that it's not sacrifice, is something that you do naturally. It's not like an act that you have to do to prove love or something like that. Like, it's sacrificing is taking a bit away from yourself, but if you are so self-sacrificing at every single given moment, you're going to take every bit apart away from yourself. You're going to take every part of you away. And your identity will be like lost in that. But like, the "I want you to kiss me when we have some time alone" is, we both are our own fully realized people that have the things that we need to do in life, and we're going to find a way to connect within that and help each other out and be synergistic. Not, um, let's strip both of ourselves to nothing and morph into one. Um, like before, I feel like it might have been written like, I don't think she would write the same thing, but it's like, if it was going to be written from like a maybe even title error, I could be misappropriating it to Fiona Apple. But like, if I saw like an Olivia Rodrigo or earlier Fiona Apple writing about it, it wouldn't be "I want to kiss you when we find some time alone." It's like, I want us to both drop our things to, like, drop what we have going on to kiss, or something like that. Like, it's not, I'm not a lyricist or anything, but it's like, that's the concept, is that it would be, oh, we have to sacrifice to do this thing, to be together, and that's proof. Where this is, let's try and find some, like, let's try and make it, let's make each other synergistic with one another, without sacrificing ourselves.
And then we can do
Yeah, this.
anything
Then we can do anything we want.
we want.
Allowing some autonomy.
And we can do anything we want. And then we can do anything we want. We started out sipping water, and now we try to swallow the way. And we try not to let those bastards get us down. We don't worry anymore, 'cause we know when the gust comes we get brave. After all, look around. It's happening, it's happening, it's happening now.
I like the militaristic nature of the sounds in the back.
Let's pretend we're 8 years old playing hooky. I draw on the wall and you can play UFC rookie. Then we'll grow up, take our clothes off, and you remind me that I wanted you to kiss me when we find some time alone. And then we can
I think it's just amazing,
do
bro.
anything we want. And then
Oh,
we can
I love how thunderous it is.
do anything we want. And then we can do anything we want. And then we can do anything we want.
It's such an amazing record. It's like that with every single artist, even if I think like the albums are amazing or whatever, there's ones where like I feel confident in being like, oh, if so, if someone said this is their favorite, even if it's an amazing record, I'll be like, I'd actually disagree with you there. With this one, it just feels more preference. Like if you think Idle Will's the best one, yeah, that feels like a preference. It doesn't feel like if I look at Bruce Springsteen and someone said, oh, my favorite's I have no fucking clue. Let me think. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't have picked Bruce Springsteen. But if I picked I don't know, an other artist, let's just say, it feels like I would have an opinion of being like, oh, I like that one. Not just I like that one more, but it's like I think that one's better. This one, I just like. I would say maybe I would say that about When the Pawn because I think that is just gonna be my favorite album. But with all the other ones, it's like they're all just amazing. They're all amazing. I don't like. I have just there's no like. I wouldn't even make arguments for any album being better. Like Extraordinary Machine versus this one, I don't know. Both of them are incredible. I wouldn't even partake, and I'm such an argumentative little shit because I find it fun. With this one, I just wouldn't. Yeah, you like Tidal One? Yeah. You like Idle Will? Yeah. You like Extraordinary Machine? Yeah. So valid. The only one I would have a preference towards being like, hey, I'm gonna put my vote in When the Pawn, but like I just want to be pushed to put my vote in. But the other three, it's like, if it was a preferential voting system like in Australia, all of those are twos. They're not one, like, I'm not 1, 2, 3, 4ing them. I'm just going to put them all as second. And the number one is When the Pawn. And yeah. The lights in my eyes. Who would have thought?
If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinema score. We showing the dancing bird of paradise. If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinema score. We showing the dancing bird of paradise. He excites me, must be like the Genesis rhythm. I get feisty whenever I'm with him. If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinema score. Showing the dancing bird of paradise.
This feels so much. There's so much like self-acceptance in this record. Oh, that's so different. If I get a chance, I'm gonna show him that he's never gonna need another, never need another. The ego's there, I like it. If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinema score. She found her ego.
If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinema score. Dancing bird in paradise. He excites me, must be like the Genesis rhythm. I get feisty whenever I'm with him. If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinema score. Dancing bird in paradise. If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinema score. Dancing bird in paradise.
I love how adventurous she is. On this record.
I'm a hot knife, he's a pat of butter. If I get a chance, I'm gonna show him that he's
Who's doing the vocals? Is it all her? Because these are crazy harmonies. They sound like multiple different people.
If I get a chance, I'm gonna show him that he's never gonna need another, never need another. He excites me, must be like the Genesis rhythm. I get feisty whenever I'm with him. If I'm butter, then he's a hot butter. He makes my heart a cinema score. Dancing bird in paradise. If I'm butter, then he's a hot butter. He makes my heart a cinema
give it like a 9.5 for now. I like it. I think it's one of my favorites. It's so cool. Yeah. That's like how different it is. I love that. I know this is a bonus track, by the way. I know that Hot Knife was the last originally. So I'm curious, because I don't think she's ever done bonus tracks. I don't remember, so I wonder what caused this one to have it. There's such a self-acceptance here. There's no like, it's not like the albums usually have like a necessary like closer. Like it kind of has that sort of feeling, like a finality to it. With this one, kind of with Hot Knife, that's not really. It's like it sort of is, but like it kind of isn't. It's allowing like the free-flowing nature of life. Which also I haven't been speaking about the OCD thing because I didn't think about it. That's such a good development for her. If I'm being parasocial for a second, like the idea of the album not needing finality. A lot of the talk is just talking about like the minutia and not like, I don't know, knowing my partner and how everything and how OCD forces you to need closure and things to be done and that sort of thing. Like the acceptance of the motion on this record is like, oh, that's crazy. To be able to get to that point when it comes to something that like would want you to overthink and have that finality, that closure. It's really cool.
Rid of a man again, so I caught me a cab to see Flanagan. I told the cabbie the alley and back. I told myself coming would keep me intact. Flanny shouts from the second floor as I cross the lot to the kitchen door. I see Guillermo and give him some lip, and I cross to the bar. Ellen pours me a nip, and I look to the stage as the rock rages. John is on. And how could I listen without wanting to be with him? And how could I have thought that I was ever alone? I feel like singing and drinking and stuff, and I don't want to care if I stumble or cry. Handle me like family, and that'll be enough to keep me from dying when I want to die. When over the rainbow's too far, go to Largo, Largo, to Largo. When over the rainbow,
I love this. It's such a nice track.
I'm hopping scotches with Loretta and Baba, barely containing my rapturous song.
Oh,
John's calling
dude, her
Nancy
lyricism,
like
the way she does the rapturous song, like that's such an amazing line.
On Sarah, on Sean. I love watching the Watkins when they're rocking with cars. I want to be part of the band, though. And when Mr. Tench is on the bench, I want to be the piano. I feel like singing and drinking and stuff, and I don't want to care if I stumble or cry. Handle me like family, and that'll be enough to keep me from dying when I want to die. When over the rainbow's too far, go to Largo.
I think it's 10. I think it's perfect. I love it.
When over the rainbow's too far, go to Largo, go to Largo.
She's so great. I love her. She's just so, like, I just love listening to her music. I love seeing how her mind works. I love just everything about it. It's so nifty. But yeah. Thank you for requesting it. And I do have Fetch the Bolt Cutters requested as well. So that, thankfully, means that I get to do and complete Fiona Apple stuff. The one sad thing is that might be our last record. I don't know if it would be, but damn. what an amazing catalog, and also just an amazing album, and a very different album from the prior ones. I can so understand when I started getting like some of the comments about like actually this is my favorite. I can see why because it is very unique. I haven't listened to the next one. Maybe the next one is going to sound like this one too, but yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love you guys. F for you. I would love to do PJ Harvey. This is me at the end. Because I can only do requests and I don't get women requesting much. If someone wants to request Tori Amos or PJ Harvey, I would adore that. Um, so yeah. If you want to go over and support on the Patreon, watching this far is support enough. But yeah, if you want to go over there, support Quest, those two gals, I would absolutely love it. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Absolutely love you. Peace.